the Patreon subscribers. We'll start with gold because we've analysed it quite a bit in Discord and explained what happened here. So hopefully that was clear. And it looked like it was a trap, basically. And they pushed price down strongly enough to make it look like it was going to continue. And by doing so, it really encouraged them to short, which we can see here. And the thing is, because the retail guys are typically retail traders, they're going to hold on to their losses. So we can potentially come up, and the scenario here would be the stop loss cluster at 1970. It might be safe, but sentimentally we're a buy. The profitable traders are long, so these guys they're the good traders. They're profitable traders. They're very long, and the dumb money have shorted it. So what's interesting is that we did make a bearish candle, and it actually superseded the bullish candle, which is interesting. So I'm not sure how legit this is. We have to remember the bulls break evens down here. So the bulls are making a lot of money, and that's interesting. You'd think we'd have a stronger bullish candle than the prior bearish candle. So there's the institutional sellers, and then they basically switched, but the volume wasn't as high as the bearish one. So we'll have to wait and see that. That's a little bit ominous. So we know that we can create a box here. Well, here actually we could say. So 1924, 25. If you're looking for sells, you could look for 1925. We'll stop at 1930-ish, 31 maybe. So really, because we're using that strong bearish volume here, so potentially, well, longs above 1925 or shorts below 1925 to target the SLCs. Okay, so below 1925, target that. Above 1925, I guess we could target that. But then he worries that the bulls are making a lot of money, and both bulls and bears should be at a loss. So I think we need to maybe come down. And the break-evens down here. Alright, so the bears break-evens $100 away. So we'd have to zoom out a long way to get to that break-even. So it's a bit tricky. So I'm kind of leaning towards the idea of it coming down to their break-even. So I might look for a short at 90.25, place an order. Don't enter a market, because we entered at market yesterday for dollar yen, and it kind of went against us quite strongly. So I'm going to place an order, or just potentially just sit here and wait for price to get in that box for a sell. So we can add a box here. We want to make sure we map it. So that's that, isn't it? That's the one. Actually, this is the bullish one, so we want to map the bullish one. So if we go in this box, then I think the SLC could be likely. So enter 1925-ish for an SLC and a bounce. That's what I might do. So that's the plan of action for gold. And really, we could be falling because the bulls are making a lot of profits. And that would be unusual. Not that one. See, the dollar Swiss is below the Kumo. It's quite bearish, isn't it, if you look at the daily. And obviously that was our sell there, because we had the penetration of the cloud. But that's just Ichimoku. Pound weekly open, so that's of note. 124. We see we fluctuated in it last 3 hours. One above is at 124.50, and one below is at 123 on the round number. There's your monthly resistance. So potentially, if we're below weekly open, we could target the resistance, potentially even target the stop loss cluster. Above the weekly open, we'll target the SLC above. And so, it's looking fairly bullish, but I don't know how legit it is, to be honest. I'm more skeptical of the pound because it does like a rug pull quite commonly. And while it looks like it's quite strong, it'll then reverse quite quickly. So keep an eye on your weekly open. It's easy to remember. It's dead on the round number. So look for shorts below to target MR1, potentially target the stop loss cluster. Look for longs above to target the SLC above 124.50. So that's how you can use it. This is quite a nice indicator. And there's your ATR target for a long, if you're looking for like a longer term perspective, not intraday, but more swing trade idea. Okay, let's look at AU. So we had the PMI, and it was the first one to crack against the dollar today. So MR2, so that's quite strong level. 70.44. One above is huge, by the way. 70.50. The one below is going to be far away at 68.50. So really, we got technical resistance. Very, very crazy, naughty behaviour. You can't, like I said yesterday in yesterday's Patreon video, if you had a swing trade on that, it would have got down to your break even, and had you gone long, you would have encountered a large loss, and then the break even. So here, it's just naughty. And I was saying to a lady on Twitter yesterday, I'm not sure how you can swing trade unless you scale out of positions. You take positions off, but inevitably, a swing trade idea from there, it just wouldn't have panned out at all. We are basically where we started. All right, and there's your SLC. So potentially up there, we are close, but it looks like we're falling a little bit now. And there's your weekly open. So MR2, sorry, to weekly open potential scenario, and that's quite a distance. It's 80 pips, 83 pips. Do note that they have sold it on this move, so that explains it. Okay, explains that move up that we've done, and yeah, so that's that. So maybe this is giving us clues for dollar strength potentially, but so you keep an eye on MR2. So it's very infuriating, and it's just one of those things, isn't it? EU, and we'll have to see here PMI data, weekly open. Still above weekly open, so fairly bullish. SLC above 109.24, one below is at 108.40, and that's MR1 there and MR2. So we're basically just in between those two values. Above weekly open, target SLC 109.24, 50 pips away, potential. And look at dollar CAD, I guess, quickly. Oh, excuse me. And dollar Swiss, dollar yen, dollar CAD, weekly open level 133.78, and we've got support, sorry, at 133.82. So there's a bit of a confluence here. Above that, it might be okay, but we have a strong CAD because of the oil. We've got some fundamental driver for a strong CAD. So this has got a little bit of a headwind for it. SLC below is at 133.20. The SLC above for this one is too far away. It's not worth showing you. It's miles up there. So a bit of headwind for this because of the fundamental drivers for a stronger CAD because of the oil, and Russia's output declined by 20%, which is pretty huge. And we've got China reopening, so it's going to create a huge demand for a dwindling oil supply. So that's going to probably boost CAD a little bit. Yeah, so a bit of CAD strength potentially, fundamentally. One above for dollar Swiss, 92.50. One below is at 91.35. Daily open here. So we are currently below. So we can maybe target the SLC or the support potentially. And so yeah, we're sort of consolidating a little bit there. And lastly, dollar yen. And the reason why I'm tired today is because I stayed up watching it, and so there was that pretty horrible move over Asia, and our stop loss was at 130.06. So we're almost getting to our loss as SL, which would be frustrating. And so really we could have had a wider stop, and really we could have placed an order. So I think what we'll do, whenever I place any swing trade ideas, we won't enter at market, we'll place orders. And we'll just simply place the order, at appropriate areas, places. But it's kind of hard to trade this really because, we're within that huge, massive range. So it'd be better to wait for a breakout, ideally. And, we can argue we're quite strong. Fairly strong, aren't we? diagonally. SLC above 13102 and 129. And so our trade of the day is potentially going to be poor, and so we have to be careful, but it will be recorded on our spreadsheet anyway, and we'll have to see how we go. The thing is with the Aussie, it's very sensitive to risk on or off flows. If we go risk off, then the Australian dollar should depreciate. If we risk on, then it should appreciate. So it's quite tricky, and this was one of those things. We've got the PMI from the US later, where that's possibly going to impact risk appetite again. So just trade carefully and know where your exit is, and potentially place orders. So now this would have been okay had we have had a wider stop. So it's very naughty, but that's just trading for you, isn't it? So our stop loss was at 130.06. And it's just one of those things, isn't it? So just be careful, and remember you have to use your stop losses, but maybe place orders. It could be better, couldn't it? So I'm going to be taking it easy today. I'm really tired, so I'll be back tomorrow. Trade safely, and I'll speak to you soon.